Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone, and
Hare Krishna.
welcome to the ISKCON Ministry for Cow Protection and Agriculture. My name's Sanjay from Bhaktivedanta Manor, and today we've been joined by none other than Damodar Govinda Das from New Govardhana in Australia. Hare Krishna, Damodar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So, how are you?
I'm very good.
Good.
How about you?
Now, yeah, I'm good. I'm very grateful to be here, and I'm very sort of happy to have this talk with you. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. And throughout this talk, if anyone has any questions or comments, please just write them in the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments, and myself and Damodar Prabhu will pick them up and we'll answer any of the questions that you may have. So today is a really nice topic, and it's one that's close to my heart because of my work that I do at Bhaktivedanta Manor. So it's all about volunteers. And in particular, we're going to be learning about the Krishna Village model. Now, Damodar Prabhu is going to tell us what is the Krishna Village model and what is Krishna Village in the first place, and how can we unpick it, reflect on it, why is it so successful, and how we can learn from the Krishna Village model and take it to other temples around the globe. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with Damodar Prabhu and everyone watching this video as well. So Damodar Prabhu, we're going to just start it off with a very nice question. We would like to know a little bit about you. Tell us about yourself and how you've got into this position of looking after volunteers. Tell us a little bit about the whole journey.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Sanjaya, and thank you, Kalakanta Prabhu, for having organized this nice meeting, this lockdown meeting. And I would like to show my gratitude to the Ministry for Cow Protection and Agriculture for the big effort it's making to make this whole thing happening, putting together farming, agriculture, volunteering, in one box, and making so nice for everyone. This is the first time I'm having this kind of meeting, so I'm not very used to it. So please forgive me if it sounds like a weird.
There's nothing to forgive.
Okay, my name is Damodar Govinda Das. I'm originally from Italy. I moved to Australia 4 years ago. My background, I have a high school diploma in agriculture and farming. I have a university degree in occupational health and safety and environmental protection, and a master degree in management systems. I spent about 10 years working OHS and quality management as a consultant, and until I joined ISKCON, and at one point I moved to the temple in Flores, Villa Vrindavana, where I've been asked to sit in the role of general manager over there. I did my bit, and people after me improved it. 4 years ago, I moved to New Govardhana without having any expectation whatsoever of what was going to happen to me. It was just a very intense time of my life. I needed a change, and Krishna gave me this opportunity. I came here, and I started my experience here by doing the yoga teacher training course. And somehow or other, by Krishna's arrangement, after the course, I had the opportunity to start to work with the volunteers as a volunteer coordinator. And in time, every devotee that has been living in a temple knows that you start from a position, and then the more you say yes, the more positions you get. So I started from volunteer coordinator and then project coordinator, and then end up being part of the board, and then end up being general manager. And here I am.
Well, I think
That's all I'm doing.
it's a wonderful service that you've done to take on responsibility. And yes, you're right. The moment you start taking on responsibility, it tends to continue along that path. But so tell us, what actually is Krishna Village? And yeah, tell us.
Technically speaking, Krishna Village is a department of ISKCON Govardhana here in Australia, next to Gold Coast, between Gold Coast and Byron Bay. And Krishna Village, as a department New Govardhana, is responsible for hospitality and educational programs for volunteers and retreat guests. So we have pretty much three villages into one village. We have the volunteer village, we have the retreat guest village, and we have the student village. Wow. And the big challenge is to make them all work together because they share in all the structures.
Yeah.
We have an average between 15 and 50 volunteers every day. We used to have about between 35 and 50 before the lockdown, and then because of this COVID-19 worldwide situation, we have to cut down the numbers. So we have recapped that now at 15, and it's pretty good. And our goal with the volunteers is to engage them and basically offer to them the foundation of the Bhakti culture. That's the most important thing to understand is that Krishna Village is a bridge between the outside world and the temple. And as every bridge, its purpose is to bring you from point A to point B. You don't build your house on a bridge. So it's a temporary place for everyone, including myself. It's a temporary place where we all get trained to the extent we need to be trained, and then it's up to us to decide if we want to move on or we want to just take whatever we have and apply in our lives, and we're happy with that. No pressure. Then in Krishna Village we also have courses. We run courses because even if the idea of being transcendental or spiritual is really nice, we are still living in this world, in this material world, in these material bodies, and we have material needs. So like every other department of the temple needs to not be independent but being autonomous, sustain itself financially. So at one point we found a need to develop our source of revenue, and we have it with courses and accommodations. Some of the courses we run are yoga teacher training courses, massage courses, cooking courses, permaculture courses, entropic gardening courses, and others. And then we have the retreat guest village, where we have a really nice and simple program for our retreat guests. They come, we give them accommodation. We have 108 beds, and we give them prashada, we give them yoga classes, we give them philosophy classes, and we give them the association of devotees, and a beautiful environment, of course, because we live in the most beautiful places in the world.
It's true. This is true. And I think what's so nice is you said that Krishna Village is a bridge, and from point A to point B. So this Krishna Village acts as a bridge. Well, it lays some foundations of what the Bhakti tradition is, and it can bridge these volunteers to a place where they have a further, deeper understanding of Bhakti, and that they have the platform to take steps in their spiritual life. So it's really nice that what New Govardhana Temple has created with Krishna Village is a bridge that provides foundations of the Bhakti tradition, but then gives it it can take you to a place where you can learn even more deeper, have a deeper understanding of this. I think that's really, really nice. I had a question. So this project is based at the New Govardhana farm community, like you said, New South Wales, not far from the Gold Coast. How does Krishna Village, you've talked about how it's so complex and there's almost like little departments within Krishna Village. How does the volunteers and having volunteers on site impact the farm and the temple?
They keep it alive.
Oh, wow. Jai.
Having volunteers around is okay. Let me go back. What is the purpose of a temple, of a farm temple? Is to create an example for the society, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a community life, village life, organic farming, cow protection, and Gurukula. All these different departments are there to create an example of a sustainable spiritual community to show to the society. So what is the point if we just keep it for ourselves? If we don't allow the society to come in and have a taste of it?
Yeah.
So this is the bridge. We need this bridge because otherwise we are like an island. And we can enjoy ourselves. We can enjoy our spiritual practice. We can enjoy the association with each other. But this is not what Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada wanted a movement. He wanted to build a house where everybody can live in, where the whole world can live in. Yeah. So because we are living in a farm and we are managing a farm, and it's already taking a lot of time. There's not much time to go outside and having programs in universities and books distribution and other reaching programs. The best thing you can do is bringing people here. It makes our life easier, and it gives people an opportunity to see that actual spiritual life is real. It's not just a spiritual practice, it's a spiritual life. Because when we go to a public library, to a university, or any other place to do some so-called preaching program, people see us from for the couple of hours we are talking, and that's it. That's the idea about us. But when they come here, they see everything about us. 24/7. They see that we can live spiritual life on a practical way, on a sustainable way. And that's why Krishna Village is there, is to create this platform, to create this environment, this place where people can come in, not feeling pushed to do anything in particular, but they can just witness the life of the farm. They can see and they can taste and they can participate to the extent they can. And going back home with an experience, not just knowledge, with an experience, inspiration.
Because it makes it more tangible. If they've had that hands-on experience, rather than reading about bhakti, actually partaking in the act of devotional service, as opposed to reading it or hearing about it, that's powerful. That changes it makes a lasting impression in someone's life.
It does.
Yeah. And I think it's so nice that, as you said, you don't want to create a utopia bubble where you guys are practicing devotional service and you're having a nice time with your sadhana and everything is nice spiritually. The doors are open at New Govardhana. People can visit and it's very accessible. And I think that's one of the most successful things I've heard about Krishna Village. It's accessible for all. I mean, you were saying that there's something for everyone, and I think that's a very beautiful thing. There's something for everyone at Krishna Village.
We are like a shopping center.
Yeah,
everybody comes in, needs to go away with something in his bag.
Yeah, it's like a shopping center. That's a nice analogy. I mean, that sort of answers this next question. I mean, the volunteers offer their services to the farm and temple community, but what does Krishna Village offer the volunteers? And I know many temples are going to be looking at this video and looking towards you and Krishna Village for advice and guidance on how to, look after volunteers. And I know you guys offer so much to the volunteers. Could you share a few things?
Yeah, of course. So the volunteers, they come here and they participate to a very simple program. They do surveys for 5 hours a day for 6 days a week. And in exchange, we provide them 2 yoga classes a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. We have one philosophy class every day. Sometimes Bhagavad Gita, sometimes more random topics that, of course, connect to the Bhakti tradition. Yeah. We offer them kirtan regularly, almost daily. And let's talk about the situation before lockdown, because now it's everything is very weird. But before lockdown, we used to have pizza night every Friday night where we make pizza for everyone, and we have open mic, so all the volunteers or any guests, they can come and they can perform whatever they want. We try to keep it sattvic, but we allow them to express their creativity in their own way, because we all need that. We can't restrain their creativity. They would be unproductive. And of course, they can access the Sunday feast. They have 3 beautiful vegetarian ahimsa meals a day.
Nice.
And of course, they have the support and association of all the Krishna Village team and New Govardhana devotees. There are 14 people in the Krishna Village team, each one of them responsible for a different department. But also there are so many devotees that live in the farm or live around the farm. They are eager every day to come and associate with the volunteers, because, as I said, this is the way we share our gift. Otherwise, it would be too easy to sink into our devotional comfort. If we wouldn't be if you wouldn't be challenged by dealing with people, talking with people, and people might say you are wrong, or I don't like what you're saying. That's the most beautiful part. That's where it gets tasty.
Yeah, and I think it's really nice that we bring people from all walks of life into one area, and then we preach, but we preach in a way that's tailored to them, that makes it accessible to them. And I think, as you said, you guys very much focus on that. You encourage their creativity. You offer them various, a whole array of activities, and you preach to them in a way that works best for them in their own spiritual life. And I think for devotees around the world, sometimes, and I speak for myself, that is a challenge, to preach in a way that is best for them, not in a very generic preaching way that, this is what you must do, and if you do not do this, this will happen, or if you do this, this will happen. Rather than all of that, you make it personable, and you reach out to their hearts. So I think it's very, very, very nice. You mentioned sort of challenges, and I wanted to see if we could elaborate a little bit about that, because just from experience at Bhaktivedanta Manor, volunteer management is a journey. It has its ups and downs for the management team, and you have such a wealth of experience. Could you share what you have learned from volunteer management, perhaps the good stuff? Perhaps you've gone through some perhaps bad times and you've learned from it.
Well, first of all, I'm sharing with you the lesson I learn every single day. That is, I'm not perfect and I'm not better than anyone else. That's and we know that, but when we live in a place like this, it's on our face constantly. And that's very important, because what I've seen nowadays people are not very much looking for gurus, or they're not looking for authorities to guide them, because we live in a society where everybody's a guru. Everybody's got an Instagram account is a guru nowadays.
Mm.
And it's not like in the 70s, people have, deep relationships between each other, but they were not guided and they were looking for gurus. Now people have gurus everywhere, but they don't have relationships. So what people are looking for is friends. So we need to step down from the throne, and we need to make people feel that we are their friends. We are there to serve them. We are accepting them the way they are. We are kind with them. We tolerate whatever, unwanted energy they bring in. And in this way, people will feel comfortable to open up, to share their minds. And in this way, we get the foundation of what they need. We have the understanding of what they need. And based on that, with the intelligence that we develop through our practice and through, listening to our gurus, then we can approach them and give them Krishna in the most suitable way. This volunteer program is beneficial both for volunteers and for devotees. For volunteers, it allows them to get in touch with the different Krishna's energies. Some of them are attracted by a more like personal form of Krishna. Some of them are attracted by the holy names of Krishna. Some of them are Prashada Das and Dasi. Some of them are attracted by the material manifestation of Krishna, the support Mother Nature. And it's all good. It's all good. We're all different. We're all ready to approach Krishna at different levels. The second one, the devotees, they get challenged and stimulated by these people. Because sometimes we forget about why we are here, why we are devotees, why we have chosen this path. Because, those were decisions that we took in the beginning, and then they are deep in our heart, but we don't look at them anymore. And by having new people, fresh people all the time, and asking, basic questions that we take them for granted, but sometimes we find hard to answer because we've taken them for granted for too long. And it's good to go back to the ABC, why am I here, reminding myself my why, my purpose. It's very inspiring. And it's very stimulating because I know that every morning I'm going outside and I'm going to speak with people, and it's my duty somehow rather to channeling this inspirational energy. I need to get inspired myself. And that's why I get strength to perform my sadhana and be very strict and disciplined with it. Because I know that whatever I do on myself is going to reflect on what I'm going to say to others.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we live in an age where that personable, those personal relationships between each other is, we see it less and less, because we live in a world where everything's modern technology, and we communicate not how we used to communicate years ago. We communicate through mobile phones, computers, and we see that people are desperate for that human contact, those relationships, those friendships, because what they're getting from their mobile phones is not satisfying for their hearts. So people are looking for relationships, and Radhanath Swami Maharaj always talks about, for the growth and development of this movement, we need to really focus on relationships and building those relationships. Then the philosophy and the deeper stuff comes. But being a nice person, being a friend, a compassionate friend to everyone, it's the foundation, and then
Yep.
everything will fall into place naturally.
I agree.
So we will, just based on a specific farmer, because New Govardhana is a farm community, what sort of wait, not that question. Actually, we can do this question. This question is very nice. What sort of feedback have you received from previous volunteers? Because I mean, how long has Krishna Village been running in terms of timescale? How many years has it been?
About 7-8 years.
7-8 years. So that means quite a few people have come through the doors, experienced it, and left. And each year, you guys are developing your program. What sort of feedback have you received from volunteers?
The best feedback that I usually receive is when new volunteers come, and I always ask them the same question: how did you hear about Krishna Village? And no matter where from the world they're coming from, they always give me the same answer. A friend of mine has been here, a friend of mine has been here, and he told me it is an amazing place and I should go. Doesn't matter if they're from Canada, from Siberia, from Argentina, from South Africa, or from the town next door. They all give the same answer. So why do they have this experience? I guess it's because we are trying our best to be as genuine as possible, not pretending to be, pure devotees or being the higher class of the society. Not at all. We're trying to show them that we are human beings. We're still struggling in this material world. We're still struggling, finding our way, but we have received a gift from Srila Prabhupada and from our spiritual master, and we're trying to make an investment with this gift. And we're trying to apply, I call it the Krishna Village, rule. I always say Krishna Village sits on 3 pillars: practice, discipline, and devotion. And we're trying to apply these 3 principles. It's the triangle of perfection for me. We are trying to apply these 3 principles in the best of our capabilities. And sometimes we fail and we don't hide it. When we succeed, we don't hide it either. We just don't make a big show out of it. So people are attracted by this because we live in a society where everybody can show, everybody can fake everything nowadays. Through social media, 99.9% is fake. Our leaders, the leaders in our society, the general society, I don't want to talk about that. I can be
I understand.
You know exactly what I mean. People desperately need to see genuine people because that's the only way we can develop genuine relationships, and that's the only way we can experience the real love that we're all longing for. Yeah,
this is true. We can speak a lot about that topic for sure. I think that's a topic on its own. At the moment, so at Krishna Village now, how many volunteers are on site? And right now in particular, what sort of services are they all doing?
At the moment, we have 15 volunteers.
Yeah.
And the departments that are working at the time, even if you are in lockdown, we have 2 organic gardens. One is the syntropic garden, we call it the East Garden, and one is like a traditional organic garden, we call it the West Garden. And I'll let you guess why. We have about 3 to 4 people for each garden. Then we have our kitchen running. We have the 2 managers, and they have a volunteer helping them out. We have some volunteers doing the housekeeping duties. That is probably the most important team. in terms of hospitality and how we present Krishna Village to the new people.
Yeah, for sure.
Some volunteers get engaged in some maintenance and landscaping.
Yeah.
And we don't have at the moment anyone dealing with the cows, because cows are very sensitive animals, and you know it very well. You don't want to put any random person going milking or dealing with them, because they can get frustrated sometimes. They are like us.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and sometimes we have 1 or 2 people doing some maintenance with our maintenance coordinator. Some painting, fresh paint in the rooms is always a job here when you have rooms, and some gardening. So yeah, that's basically it.
Nice. That's nice. Okay, brilliant. I think this is something I really wanted to ask you, because you seem so passionate about what you do. What inspires you to continue serving at Krishna Village?
You just said that, because I'm so passionate about it. Because I've realized that service is the only thing that can give fulfillment to the soul, to the heart. And that's what we need. We can get a lot of stuff, we can get a lot of things, and they give us a thrill, they give us some excitement, some temporary happiness, but that's just on the mental platform.
Yeah.
And I already have so much of this. I don't need much. I still need some, not perfect. But the actual fulfillment, the fulfillment that makes you wake up in the morning and think, wow, another day in Krishna Village. I'm so excited to see what's happening today.
Wow.
That's a beautiful thing we can experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And also because I see that we have no control of anything that is happening here. I mean, as a manager, I shouldn't say that. But actually speaking, that's the reality. Every day I wake up, I have my plan, and then I step outside of my door, and Krishna has already changed the whole plan for me. That's like, in the beginning, it's kind of frustrating when you don't know how Krishna works, but then you realize, oh, well, that's the best thing ever. It adds a little bit of spice in my life, and makes my life like keeps me under, keeps my adrenaline running in my vein. And it's beautiful. And every single day is a surprise, and every single day you can see people getting inspired, people fall in love with Krishna or Krishna's devotees or Krishna's different energies, and that's what our lives should be about.
For sure. I mean, the way you speak about your service with such enthusiasm, straight away we can easily feel how valuable it is to you and how impactful it is to the people at Krishna Village. So it's powerful, and I think you, throughout this talk, you've really talked about the enjoyment of preaching in different ways. I think it's a beautiful
thing. Definitely having a beautiful team is essential.
Yeah.
Working with a team of people when we all have the same goal, and we can actually be united in our diversity, because we all do different things, we have different skills, we have different natures, we have different level of spiritual realization, but just getting focused on giving the best experience of our guests and try to cooperate. It's wonderful. Makes life so easy.
For sure. Which brings me on to sort of my next question. While I think it would be quite nice to perhaps replicate Damodar Govinda Das and help manifest him at different temples, but is Krishna Village is Krishna Village a model that can be replicated at other temples around the globe? What are your thoughts? What do you think?
it must be.
Right.
Especially where, especially in those temples, I'm talking about farm temples where village life has to be established.
Yeah.
The model of Christian Village is very complex. It's practically impossible to copy and paste, to take it the way it is and apply somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because it's a model that's been created and customized on this place, in this time, in this circumstance, in this society, in this country, in whatever.
Yeah.
But the idea behind Christian Village, that must be applied everywhere. Because the idea is very simple. It's just creating, we said before, we created a space for people from all walks of life to come together and feel free to be who they are without being judged, without being labeled, without being criticized, and allow them to have a taste, an experience of what is the Bhakti culture, and engage them according to their nature.
Yeah.
And design activities for them that bring them to reawake their dormant love for the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of planning and meetings and discussion. But most of all, takes a lot of collective intelligence that comes from our spiritual practice to understand what is the nature of the society we are living in, what are the needs of the society, what people want in this place, what people want from us.
Yeah.
And then starting from there, design a program or a process that meet their needs, but in the same time create a connection with the greatest gift we have to share.
Yeah.
So it definitely can be replicated. It needs to be replicated, because what Prabhupada wanted, it didn't just want farms. He wanted to create communities.
Yeah.
And a community is not just a club of brahmanas. A community must be like Dvaraka. We read in the Bhagavatam when Krishna goes back to Dvaraka, there were all sorts of people loving Krishna, serving Krishna, from brahmanas to kshatriyas, vaishyas, shudras, all the way to prostitutes. They were all there loving Krishna, serving Krishna in their own way.
Yeah.
And that's the community, that's the village.
Yeah.
The pyramid is a very stable form. But if you try to sit a pyramid on its tip, you try to stand on its tip, what happen? You tip over, And that's what happened in the last 50 years of ISKCON. We have developed a really strong Brahminical society. But now we have to focus on everything else, because the Brahminical society is just the tip of the pyramid. Now we need to set the foundation, and we need to be able to take that step of accepting that everybody has a different nature. Not everybody is a Brahmana. And everybody can serve Krishna. Everybody is meant to serve Krishna according to their own nature.
Yeah.
So this is something that every temple must understand. Because in my experience, I've seen so many situations where devotees say, these people are really bringing a weird energy in the temple and we get affected. You get affected because your sadhana is not strong, because you don't trust that Krishna is protecting you through your service. But Krishna has told Arjuna so many times in the Bhagavad Gita, I'm going to protect you. Don't worry, you go there and fight. But I'm going to protect you if you trust me, if you surrender to me. It is challenging. It can be distracting. It can be, but that's what Prabhupada did. Prabhupada didn't go to America looking for brahmanas. He went to America and accepted anyone that was coming to him. And then external adjustment, they will happen naturally in time if the process is followed properly. But Prabhupada, through the qualification in people, the only qualification he saw in people was Krishna sent me these people. That's the only qualification anybody needs to have an experience in an ISKCON temple.
Yeah, and I think that's very, very powerful. Temples help us understand our nature, and then perhaps from what you're saying, maybe the missing link is now temples need to then allow people to serve in the best way based on their nature, because the Vedic knowledge helps us understand ourselves on a deeper level. And it would be nice then to, once we've understood ourselves on a deeper level, serve in that way, because we've come to the realization of our different natures within us. So perhaps from what you're saying, maybe that is the missing point, where now once we know about ourselves, let us serve Krishna in that way that's best situated for us.
Yeah, especially when you have the facility, when you have a big farm and you can create different spaces for different social groups. You can create different programs for different social groups. And in this way, the whole Varnashrama Dharma is, in Kali Yuga, it's hard to talk about Varnashrama Dharma, but just for the sake of this conversation, every group in the society can be taken care of properly. Every group of the society can have the opportunity to serve Krishna. And so we all need to do that. We just need to get out of our comfort zone and pull up our sleeves and jump into the battlefield. This is our Kurukshetra.
Do what is needful. Do the dutiful. What is needed. Yes, This is powerful. I have a nice question here. Based on your experience, what has been your most memorable experience with volunteers or working in and around, in Krishna Village?
Well, I have so many memorable experiences, but one stands on top of all the others. It was about 3 years ago. There was a big flood in this area of Australia, and basically overnight the whole village flooded. We have 1.5 meters water in every single room. We have 2.5 meters of water in the campsite where the volunteers are living. So in the afternoon, when we saw that the water was raising that much, we just loaded our truck with people. It was really interesting situation. Putting volunteers, retreat guests, people were here having a course, just packing up their bags, loading on a truck, and moving them all uphill to the school hall. And I was the only one left here, and was pretty much left alone in Krishna Village, flooded. And then in the morning I woke up and I looked outside and I was swimming in Krishna Village from one place to another. And seeing tents, like they were just balls of mud with computers inside and phones and clothes. Some people lost everything. Some people managed to save their stuff. And for 2 days, the village was pretty much isolated from the rest of New Govardhana. And then the morning that the water went down, I went to the school to prepare everyone for what they were about to see, because nobody knew what happened in the village. So I gave a nice talk like, we're going to fix everything, try to make everybody feel all right. And then we brought everybody down. And usually every morning we have a meeting 6:15 with all the volunteers and we talk about what we're doing during the day. So we just have this meeting. And I told everyone, guys, I'm really not prepared for this. I never faced a situation like that. And it doesn't matter if I'm a good manager or not. I don't know what to do. So please go around, whatever you find to be fixed, whatever you find to be clean, whatever you find to be tied up, just do it. I don't have tasks. I don't have a program. I don't have a plan. Just do your best. I don't expect anything from anyone. And in saying that, when you surrender to Krishna, you're like, all right, Krishna, I don't know what to do. You do. This is your village. You do whatever you want to do. For 1 week, I've seen the best Krishna Village I've ever experienced.
Wow.
Volunteers, retreat guests, students, there was no difference between one another. Everybody was walking around like bees in a beehive. Everybody was taking care of everything, even if it was not their own stuff. Everybody was fixing, everybody was cleaning. And trust me, in 2 days, the whole village was clean.
Wow.
We have tons of rubbish to bring to the tip. But in 2 days, the village was clean. And in 8 days, the village was ready to be open again. We repainted all the rooms. We built all the new furnitures. We set everything up. In 8 days, we have the first few guests coming from outside. And it was amazing. Everybody was working 12, 15 hours a day, and everybody was happy. Everybody was having fun. And somehow we were putting together some food, and nobody had any great expectation. Everybody really helped each other. There was this experience of actual community. That was beautiful.
It sounds like Krishna empowered you all in that situation, just to handle such a could be a difficult time, but you guys managed it. 8 days, and then you had people back coming. So I think that's amazing.
It was the most difficult time and the most fulfilling time.
Yeah.
The most rewarding time.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So we have a comment which kind of links to the question. So the question is, what advice would you give to temple management teams that are looking to engage more volunteers? And the comment that's come from Krunamai is, how about with smaller temples with less facilities? Because with not every temple has the infrastructure like New Govardhana, but the principles, I'd imagine, are the same. I mean, what advice would you give to temple management teams that are looking to engage more volunteers?
Well, the best advice is do it. Don't worry for perfection. That will never happen. I've seen so many temples management team that they keep talking and thinking, having meeting, to try to figure out how to have volunteers. But if you never start, you never go anywhere. So in the beginning, it can be rough. It can be challenging. You have to make a lot of compromises, but start rough, and you can fix bits and pieces in due course of time. For smaller temples, well, again, as I said before, you can't copy and paste Krishna Village because it's a complex system, but you can apply the idea. The idea is to assess your facility, assess your resources. They can be financial resources, can be manpower, how many devotees you have that want to be engaged in this program, how many skills you have to be involved in this program, and then understand what the volunteers in your society, in your location want. And then try to put everything together, trying to use intelligence and creativity to create your own program. It's very hard. And when I went to the conference, the farm conference in the States last year, Kalakanta Prabhu invited me. I offered to everyone, if you want to understand how Krishna Village runs, come to New Govardhana, come to Krishna Village, stay for 3 months, stay for 6 months. We are happy to, to take care of all of your needs, and you can just live with us. And by living with us, you will actually embody the idea that is behind Krishna Village. Then whenever you go, you have the eyes, you have the intelligence to understand how to put things together. It's very hard if you don't have this experience to start something. You need to be very, very creative.
Yeah.
And then another advice I would give to any temple: don't get stuck in daily issues. Sometimes issues get so frustrating and they get so big, and you're like, what is the point of this? This is not gonna work. Just try to keep the focus on the greater picture, like Prabhupada used to do. It wasn't easy for Prabhupada in the very beginning. He had so many trouble, but he had the greatest picture. He had the vision.
Yeah.
He knew that just by sticking on that vision, having trust in Krishna, all the daily issues, they're just like they come and they go like waves in the ocean. We shouldn't get frustrated because things come and things going. That's just the way of the material nature.
Yeah, this is true. This is very true. I think it's quite a nice point that you have invited or welcomed temple management teams from around the world to actually, one day come to New Govardhana and have a hands-on experience. I think that's one of the best ways to learn about Krishna Village, the Krishna Village model. And because of the COVID-19 situation, just before this call, we were speaking with Kalakanta Prabhu and saying we could do an online situation where temples can come online and speak to yourself and your team, and you can talk through that. So that might be a small little interim thing we could consider before we can certainly make our way to New Govardhana. So I wanted to sort of before we sort of wrap it up, this talk up, what do you see for the future of Krishna Village? What is the vision long term? Where do you see this model heading in what sort of direction?
Krishna Village is a machine that is constantly improving. It's auto-improving. Every single day I see a different Krishna Village. People, they come here today and they come here in 6 months' time, they always like, what happened? What did you do? This looks like a different village. And it's just a little bit under our control. Somehow or other, Krishna is shaping it every day according to his own will. But what I see is the future, since, here we pretty much filled up all the space we had available.
Yeah.
We're running as many courses as we can. We have as many volunteers as we can. We accommodate as many retreat guests as we can. So because the space is limited, the idea is to, and we'll be speaking about this so many times, and it gets very close to what the ministry wants to do. The idea is to franchise Krishna Village, to start to expand it and bring it to whoever wants to start a Krishna Village.
Yeah.
Somehow or other, Krishna Village is pretty well established here. We had a kind of a earthquake during this COVID-19 situation because financially is a big problem. But the foundation is there. And the idea that we can somehow or other share our experience through social media, or one day, if Krishna wants, we will fly again and we can go different parts of the world and bring our contribution to whoever wants to make an effort and has the resources to start a project like this. That's it. Because again, we didn't create Krishna Village. Krishna Village created itself. We are here and entrusted to look after Krishna Village, and somehow or other take responsibility. Therefore, the best way, and we have this opportunity to live here and live this experience, and we want many more people to have this opportunity. Therefore, we would like to, go out there and share it with other people.
Yeah.
That's what I see the future of Krishna Village. The future of Krishna Village is not just about this location. The future of Krishna Village, that Krishna Village expands everywhere in the world as a concept, but not as a brand, because we don't mind about branding.
Yeah. I think it's a very beautiful thing to try and create Krishna's village all around the world, so that everyone has a home, everyone has shelter, and everyone can express themselves. And it's a place where we can learn about the Bhakti culture. So I think it's a beautiful thing that what is happening at New Govardhana, and it is something for other temples to learn from. And I think the biggest thing is that preaching, from what I'm taking from this, from hearing from you, is that preaching takes many forms, and Krishna Village does so well in offering something for everyone. And we hope to hear more from you and to learn more about Krishna Village. And one day, when it's safe to do so, we do hope that we can come and visit and experience Krishna Village at New Govardhana with you personally. And we hope that you will be able to come and travel around and share the Krishna Village model with temples directly as well. So we will come to an end here. And it's been so nourishing speaking to you, Damodar Prabhu, about the Krishna Village model. And I'm very grateful for your time that you've given for the Ministry for Cow Protection and Agriculture. So the only thing I have to say for you is just all glories to your services, because you are preaching and you are spreading Srila Prabhupada's message in so many different ways, and people are being impacted in a positive way. So we pray that Krishna continues to keep your energy up, and we know that you guys are doing such wonderful services. So from myself, from Damodar Govindadas, and everyone watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for giving up your time to watch. And if you're watching a replay of this, Hare Krishna to you now. And we will be back soon with another live talk with the ministry, and we're excited for that. So Hare Krishna, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sanjay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.